Okay, so I'm filming again. It's fairly early morning here in Leichhardt on Henry Street. Now, I made a video yesterday, but these might be temporary videos. In other words, I might take them down because they're really just for a few people, just to keep showing little things, but they're not really videos that you probably want to leave for a long time, in the sense that they will seem nonsensical um, in the long run, I would think. That's what I think anyway. That's what I think of my videos when I'm filming random street, or unless I can show something more significant or a continuum, which is rather hard to do. But either way, I'm going to go outside in a minute, but I've turned the light off so that you can see that I'm going out the usual door. I have, I see the mobile as like a telephone, okay, in a way. And, I might make 3 significant telephones over the last week. I have made a few that have impacted my life or had an effect on me over the last week. Because the Matrix is always trying to traumatize you, one way or another. It can even traumatize you by a telephone conversation. If it stresses you, if it worries you, if it makes you think that your situation is getting worse, that sort of thing. And the Matrix God entity and its minions and its disciples and the vast majority of the so-called human population of this earth are trauma-based. Just as I myself now, over the last number of years, with the gradual escalation, have become traumatized. Like you feel traumatized all the time. This is not how a human being should feel at all, no. But that is how I feel, and you probably feel, and many others do feel in this reality, particularly when the Matrix targets you as a human being. And that is because the Matrix God entity and its minions, and that includes even your own kind, or what appear to be your own kind. There probably are differences between different people. As we know, there are different personality types, different way of looking at things. Personality types in particular is a huge factor, as you know, in the present scenario, because we have a majority population that is being controlled and controlling real human beings, and these vast majority are all narcissistic psychopaths in varying degrees, but largely it doesn't matter the degree, because the only reason it looks like a degree is because you have what we call covert and overt narcissists, which is like this Matrix. In other words, some are in hiding or undercover and not obvious, whereas others are a lot more out in the open. In other words, they might express their dominant personality more openly to you, and they may control you more openly. They may be more aggressive more openly. They may show their venom, because it is like a snake. Yes, it's like a snake. It does have venom, and that venom wants to bite you and destroy you with its venom. Its venom is its anger, its hate, its antagonism towards you, its trauma that it has experienced, like the God entity, where it's trauma-based. And it wants human beings to feel that same trauma because it doesn't like human beings because they are not meant to be trauma-based, and they refuse. And everything being equal, we generally refuse to be so trauma-based and so negative and anti-life due to circumstances or the environment. I'm not putting this right, I am sorry. But the Matrix God entity is full of psychopathic trauma, or believes that it has been unjustly traumatized by human beings, because the God entity believes that human beings do not have a place in this reality, and does not want human beings to have their full correct place in this reality where they are fully functioning and at their highest potential or their highest vibration, etc. All these things are the same thing. If you get to really high vibration, you will I would imagine, because I have not done this obviously, because I'm trauma-based and at a low vibration in this reality. Very much so, because at this end time, human beings are targeted extensively, particularly if there is any potential that they want to rise above the matrix, as I did. And I came crushing right down with a big thud. You know, like, you cannot rise above our matrix. You cannot raise the vibration. You cannot feel good as a human being. No, because you must feel trauma like we do. You must realize that you have caused our trauma just by your existence, because we do not like human beings. Just as human beings who are psychopathic narcissists or narcissistic psychopaths, depending on how you want to word it, I don't know, it makes no difference, I don't think, try to traumatize their own kind, because they feel that they have been wronged. They feel that they have been traumatized unjustly. They feel that the very world around them traumatizes them. They don't realize that it's the Matrix God that is doing that to them through other human beings, of course, because it's a chaos. It is chaos because it is set up as the psychopaths set things up into chaos. They set up all sorts of scenarios. They set up negative situations for human beings so that human beings will feel trauma or anxiety or distress or depression, all this sort of stuff, where they'll feel very low, very sad, unhappy all the time, to where you can never enjoy any sort of life. Someone left a comment, why don't you just enjoy your life? Well, of course, that's exactly what I have been trying to do. But how do you do it when you are surrounded by psychopaths that are around you? Like, you can't just, what do? Just bowl them over? If you bowl them over, then you get into trouble too, because you're in a matrix. So we have to abide by matrix conditions. It doesn't matter that psychopaths are trying to destroy and traumatize you. You have to behave as though nothing is wrong. But living, just trying to, you are at the traumatized survival level that the Matrix God entity wants you to be at. And its minions want you to be at too, because they feel that way. Because they are full of resentment and anger. They feel they have, it's a big setup. See, even psychopathic human beings are set up by the Matrix to feel small in this Matrix, because the demigods and the Matrix players rule and dominate, and they feel that everyone is better than them, and because they've been so traumatized, they feel so weak and out of control, so they overcompensate by trying to control the environment that's around them, which includes me and you. Even though we actually want to live and help them to live, to rise above the Matrix, because we know it's the Matrix God that is originally setting all this up because of its trauma. It wants human beings to not only experience its trauma, but to be taken down by it, because the matrix God entity believes that the emergence of human beings, or the presence of human beings, offends the God so much, because the matrix God feels that the human being was given more, because it's an authentic creative being, whereas the matrix God has to create through technology, and it wants to have its own technological creation, or earth. I didn't put that right, or matrix really, because it's a controlled technological earth that it wants and that exists and that is, and human beings are stuck in it and being traumatized by it. I don't know if I put this right. I probably didn't. I'm getting muddled up before I start. I understand it, but putting it verbally, especially because I'm traumatized, you see, because I'm laughing, but it's not funny, because I can't concentrate, because I'm not relaxed, because you're trying to do, it's almost like trying to, it's not like you're, say, a psychiatrist, for instance, that is talking to an unstable, insane patient, where you are sane. It's like the psychiatrist is also being traumatized and being gradually made insane. So I'm not using a good example, so I think I might just venture outside, because I don't want to, I always say, make my point. If I haven't made it well, perhaps it's time to be quiet. I'm going out the door, and I'm going to turn the phone around, if I can, without losing transmission. The other day I lost sometimes the matrix closes the transmission down. If I say something that somehow crosses a line, I'm not quite sure how that works, because I sometimes wonder when I'm crossing the line. I usually think I'm not. I'm going outside. It is Sunday. It is Sunday, and look who is waiting there for me. My little big boy cat. My little big boy cat, because my original big boy cat was a big boy cat, whereas this is my unoriginal replicant. See, that's a good word. That comes from the movie Blade Runner. Oh, we've got an ibis and pigeons. Oh, I'm going out. This might be better today than yesterday. At least I've got a few animals, so if the video's boring, or if I'm not making sense or looking stupid like I usually do, I've got the animals. Unfortunately, I don't know if I can get them. I need to get them some food. I've got some stale chicken here that I could throw to the birds. Oh, there's Big Boy's coming in, but Big Boy, I haven't even got the light on. How about coming out with me? How about making the video out in the light, because we can see out in the light. Come on, Big Boy. Come on, Big Boy. Look. Am I filming this good? Someone else has left bread there for, because since I started leaving bread, the neighbours have to outdo a real human. They have to appear to be authentic, whereas I have been doing it for years and years, but they only do it now out the front, because they have to appear to be better than a real human being. You're saying, well, aren't they real human beings? No, they are not. They are real human beings, but they are of the psychopathic variety. And psychopaths are very competitive, as you know, and they have to always be on top and the best. Anything you do, they will have to outdo you with, even if it's something as pathetical as just leaving some stale bread for the birds. Actually, the bread they leave is not as good as the bread I leave either, because I always leave good stuff. Oh, look, even the poor little ibis is eating the bread. Big Boy, come on. I'm going to... oh, this is the silliest video. I'm going to lose transmission because I've got to hold it. But I'm going to try... oh, I should just go out. I'm going to really make them angry by doing this. They don't like it when I do this, when I pause any of my stuff. But this is leftover rice. which I think might be better than the bread. So I shall just pour it here and they will come and get it. It's not even very much. I normally have a lot more left because I cook so much in the pot. Notice how they said how you burn the pot when that fella from down the back come up and they were talking about stuff. There's my burnt pot. See, they make fun of you, but you would think I'm being stupid. But they know everything you're doing, and they're so ridiculous. They even try to outdo you when you do stupid things or make mistakes. That's how insane they are, you see. That's what a psychopath and narcissistic, see? Narcissistic is where it's like they must have the attention. Every little thing, because they resent human beings, because human beings, because they're like the Matrix God, they resent their own kind. They're almost, they're anti-life and anti-human, like the Matrix God. And they may well worship and be disciples of this God, consciously even. I do not know this. I don't know the numbers that way. But I know that they indirectly or directly serve and worship because they think that same way. They don't like human beings. Now come on, big boy. See how the ibis has gone straight for the rice that I put there. I might even... big boy. Oh, this is awful. I should be not doing this. That is chicken left over. But I'm going to put that out there. But I haven't got... Oh, I haven't got the bag. Just haven't got the... I'm glad I've got the light off because it is so messy in the kitchen. You know, the other day, I mentioned this. I actually mentioned this, but I'm going to mention it again. The housing department, which runs the place where I live, they own it and I pay rent to them, small rent because it's government controlled and run, okay? It's provided by the government for people on low incomes, that's what it is. They come out once a year to inspect the place, and they've been doing that for 30 years, and they never fail. They always come at the exact time they say. They were supposed to come the other day, and I waited for hours and hours and hours, and they didn't come. Because, for the first time, I was going to film them, and I was going to ask them to clean something for me, and I was going to use the virus as a good reason why they should, because in the past they won't clean my place for me because they like me to have the messiest place, you know, because that is that way everyone else has a clean, nice place and I look ridiculous and etc. So they didn't come out for the first time in 30 years, and they left a note saying, sorry, we missed you. And that's actually, they hate to, in fact, they actually say it's if you don't turn up and don't wait for them, that you're in big trouble sort of thing. So it's interesting that, and I'm rambling on here, but all I'm saying is that the Matrix did not turn up for the first time because they didn't want me to, because I was up on it for the first time where I thought I'm going to film it and I'm going to ask them to clean those stairs that have been there for years that no one will help me with, that even make me feel sick because I've got the dog in there, as you know, urinating and defecating all over the place. Now, where is the cat? Putty, where's Putty gone? Oh, Putty's out there, okay. Putty is out there. Now the neighbours are going to, the psychopathic neighbours around here are going to go bonkers, and I shall probably not be in existence after filming all this, but look at them all eating the chicken and stuff that I've left. But, and there's Big Boy, he's got it all over him, and I just don't care. It is early morning, And the ibis is eating it. We haven't seen ibises around. Oh, it's cold out here, a bit colder than what I thought. And the pigeons, look. And the neighbours will just go bonkers because they could do the same thing. But you see, their heart's not in it because they are psychopathic. They only do things that are negative. They don't like positive things. They hate having to leave this bread out here, the stale white dry bread, which is really no good for pigeons anyway. They hate doing that, but they have to compete with me, so they have to do it. That's why they don't like me, because they're like, now we have to do all this silly stuff to compete with her. And there's the cat too. There's Big Boy Cat. There he is in his element eating. I only hope he's not getting bones, because normally I really go through that. But I wasn't even going to give that to him because it's a bit stale. But I saw the bird there, and the ibises are desperate. They'll eat anything, and chicken's a bit of a luxury almost for them. But Big Boy loves chicken. But that is not Big Boy. That is not my original Big Boy. I'm going to make this point here while I'm here. Seeing he's here, look. This tail is not his tail. See how it curves around? Big Boy always kept his tail straight. See how it's all muffled at the top there, how it goes into a black? The original tail was all black circles, all the way right up to here. Am I making sense? And very distinct, very clear. See how that is all, and see how that merges in? See how those bits are merging in? That is not the Big Boy's tail, the original one, at all. The Big Boy's original tail was absolutely perfect. It went right up to here, and it was bigger than that too. And it was perfect because it started thick here and then went to a small end. This one is changed. See how it's less in the centre a little bit there, and see how it's all not clear. There's no clear rings. It should be complete clear black rings that don't merge and don't match. See how they're merging? See how they are merging here? And there at the tip was smaller than that with just a black tip. That is not the original Big Boy's tail. And also underneath, which I did show in a video but it cut out, it's all white underneath. The original Big Boy Cat, the tail was perfect on the inside, the outside and underneath. He's not going to show you that because he's eating there, but it has got a white underneath. Maybe I'll show it to you another time. But it's very hard to get the cat in all this thing. That's just pointing out the tail difference between that and the original Big Boy Cat. That I noticed a little while back, but it was one of the last things I noticed, even though it's so obvious, but I did notice it at some point quite distinctly. And see, that tail is not perfect at all. See how it's now changed to, it's got actually worse, to where it's pathetical. It's all it's not a consistent symmetrical shape like the original one. See how it's all see how it's bigger at the end even, and a little bit in the centre goes in? The original Big Boy Cat's tail was perfect. In fact, he was perfect in every way. At a visual level, strangely enough. This cat is actually much softer, much fluffier. And a very nice looking cat. But he's not distinct in any way like the original Big Boy. Even his markings, like the markings on his head, those ones are real soft and browny colour, whereas the original Big Boy Cat had more distinct, more blacky colour, much more distinct, but much more white. The contrast between everything was much greater. This is like a copy in a way, you could say. You know how copies lose their clarity if you copy something enough? Something like that. I don't know what I'm talking about here, but that's what it looks like to me anyway. And the fur is totally different in the sense that it's, and even other people have noticed, as I mentioned before, the different texture of the fur. This fur is much fluffier, much kind of thicker, but at the same time kind of not. In other words, in some spots it's a bit sparse. It's funny like that. But to feel it, it feels really fluffy and nice. But the original Big Boy Cat had normal, perfect cat fur. That's the best way I can describe it. There's the ibis. Do you want to have a look at an ibis? They might be exclusive to Sydney. Come here. I don't know if I'm getting him. I've got the phone round the wrong way again. I've got the pigeons there. Pigeons. See the ibis? That's an ibis bird. That's an ibis bird. Since I have started to like them, they have become a lot more accepted, because there was a period of time where people did not like them, even though because I liked them when I first saw them, when I come here to Leichhardt, because I went down the park, which is just down there, and I had never seen an ibis bird before in my life, even though they are, you could say, native to Sydney. But I'd never seen one. I thought, because I'd never seen such a big bird. See, they're quite big. See? I can get close, because they're timid unless they sort of know you or are used to you, and this one's never even, I rarely have them come to my door like this. This is unusual, but there's lots of them down Pioneer Park, which is just down the corner there, just at the end of the street. There's a great big park called Pioneer Park, and they have quite a lot of them there. I can't see if I'm getting him in. If I just stand here, he might come towards me. He's very dirty looking. Some of them look a bit grubby, but I think they will use their long beak to go into garbage bins. And in Sydney, they have been derogatively called bin turkeys or bin, yeah. But now some people have become like me, where they've jumped onto their defence, a bit like the pigeons. I had someone say to me that pigeons, when I was feeding them here as they went past, they said they're what are they? How do they describe them? It'll come back to me later. I'll tell you when it comes back to me. But it was also a derogatory term. It meant that they'll just eat anything. But that's because they're in the city. You know, they can get seed, but because they're domesticated, almost like from being in the city, they will eat, like, that's right, any scraps that are around. Big boy, I think you've had enough there. I think that was really for the ibis, not for you. What are you up to there? What are you up to there? See how his fur is just totally different. See how it even makes all these marks and things in it? The original big boy had smooth white fur all down the side. See how it's all makes all. Oh, I can't. And also the original big boy's feet and legs. You're not going to see it there because he's going to walk away. But on the front of both of his legs, I noticed this too. This one has the markings, but they don't go right across. The original big boy had the stripes. When I say stripes, they're only like the... See how he's really got two colours? How the tail's a bit darker, that's right. The tail was always with a bit more dark black stripes. But that tail doesn't have the stripes going right back. He's walking away. He won't show you. He won't show you. He's walking away. I have to show you another time. But his whole front legs, they also were perfectly marked, in the sense that the little slightly darker stripes that went down both front legs only go halfway now. They don't go fully across. So it looks as though it's a similar cat, but it's not marked exactly the same. There he is. He's enjoyed his food, if nothing else. See how, even though this is a possessed animal, he's still distracting me and making me believe, temporarily, that he's a real dear little cat. I think it's so cute when they lick themselves like that. See his tail, how it's not stripes right up to the base, and how it's muffled, and how some of the lines are merging in together. Can you see that? See, these lines should not be merging in. They should all be separate with distinct black and white stripes all the way up to the base. That is how the original big boy was. Is that true, big boy? I'm out here and making a fool of myself, and I see how the legs, look, the stripes are not going right down. See how there's all that white? That shouldn't be there. The stripe should go right across, right down to the feet. Instead, you've got that white. Is it coming out? Probably not. That white should not be there. It's as though they ran out of ink or something, that sort of thing. I know that sounds stupid, but that's what it looks like. Oh, the bin turkey. Oh, wow, the sun is coming up. Is that all right for you or not? Am I getting something there? The sun is just come up and hit me just over the house there. Is it any good? I think maybe my pictures of the sun are the best part of my videos now, because my commentary is getting more and more poor and more, I would say more distressed, so therefore I'm not making it coherent or making as much sense as what I would like. That's because I'm nervous and stressed. And you feel traumatized by the Matrix or by the people that are around you, because the people are operating for the Matrix. So all the people that are around me here are traumatizing me. And every person that comes into my path or into my life is traumatizing me at the present time, and have been for quite a long time. But more so over the last, as I say, 3 years, when the Matrix exposed itself. Even though it still plays covert with people's personalities, with with hiding and pretending to be a legitimate, friendly part of your life when they're really working against you in their mind, and therefore not really helping you or cooperating with you in their mind, and therefore secretly working against you at every opportunity that they can. And this goes for people that are close to you, and those that are acquaintances, or those that are just randomly around you on the street, or your neighbours that you know by sight and are obliged to hold conversations with. And you know that it is best to play with them, and some of them half know that you're playing, but they're not maybe 100% sure. But then again, even if they play, it still makes them look good to if there are any other real humans, which there could be. There's the clouds over there. That's how it works. That's how it works in a matrix. It's basically like a negative movie being played against real human beings by the Matrix God entity and its minions, its disciples, its followers, its worshippers, and those that are just traumatized by it and its matrix, to where they then abuse and put trauma onto real human beings in their personal life, if they are close to you, or if they're given any opportunity, whether they be local around you, even like the street. As you can see, I know it's a Sunday morning, but the street is completely quiet and dead because I'm filming it. And where did Putty go? Oh, there he is. There's Putty. Putty's having a drink of water. That plant that was dragged back just from a few doors down, it's having a drink. You might need a drink too, because we're heading towards warmer weather now, so it might well be that that he'll need a drink, because it might be a warmer day. Now the sun is there, look. What do you think of that sun? Am I getting it in? I should have the phone round the other way. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make it framed well because I can't see what I'm framing. I know that sometimes I get it off and it doesn't look so good. And I'm holding it with a nervous hand. Try to get more of it in, but I can't see what I'm even filming. I'm sorry if it's not coming out good. Is it coming out? I won't know till I have a little peek myself. That's if I can. But in order for me to have a peek, it means I have to download it. So if it's a really lousy video and I look ridiculous and there's nothing going on, and people say, what's the point, why are you doing it? Well, I think that is so true. I agree with the comments, and I really I respect the intentions of some of the comments, because if you don't really succeed in what you're trying to do when you're trying to show a physical matrix, I'll just hold it there, but I'm still here, as you can see. But am I getting that in? If you don't successfully show a synchronized, systematic, workable matrix, in other words, where cars and vehicles and sight and sound is being manipulated and used in a negative way against individual human beings on the streets and around your house, etc., but, you know, then you fail. You invalidate all the other videos where you've talked about, human beings are spiritual human beings and, you know, their thinking creates reality in an artificial matrix. It doesn't prove anything to an outsider that is still kind of not aware or doesn't believe that we are in a totally controlled matrix. That is essentially